Lily was a 28-year-old bank employee who had worked tirelessly to build a stable life for herself. She was known for her dedication, her kind heart, and her ability to handle even the most difficult clients with grace. But despite her professional success, Lily often felt a void in her personal life. She longed for companionship, someone to share her dreams and struggles with. That's when she met Harvey. At 30 years old, Harvey was a freelance graphic designer who had a charming smile and a way with words. They met at a networking event for creative professionals, and Harvey's passion for art and design immediately caught Lily's attention. He seemed ambitious, funny, and attentive, everything Lily thought she wanted in a partner. Their relationship moved quickly. Within just a few months of dating, Harvey proposed, and Lily, swept up in the whirlwind romance, said yes. She believed she had found her soulmate, someone who would support her as much as she supported him. They had a small, intimate wedding, and Lily was excited to start this new chapter of her life. But as the honeymoon phase faded, cracks began to show. Harvey's freelance work wasn't as steady as he had claimed, and he often relied on Lily to cover their expenses. Still, Lily told herself it was just a rough patch. She believed in Harvey's potential and was determined to make their marriage work. Little did she know, her life was about to take a dark and unexpected turn. Not long after the wedding, Harvey dropped a bombshell on Lily. "Lily, my parents, Bart and Penelope, are moving in with us," he said casually one evening over dinner. Lily froze, her fork halfway to her mouth. "Wait, what? Moving in? When did we decide this?" Harvey shrugged. "They're getting older, and they need help. It's not a big deal, they'll only stay for a while." But it was a big deal. Bart and Penelope arrived just a week later, bringing with them boxes of belongings and an air of entitlement. Lily hadn't even had time to process the decision, let alone prepare for the sudden invasion of her home. At first, she tried to be understanding. Bart, in his mid-50s, claimed he had health issues that made it hard for him to work. Penelope, a former homemaker, insisted she was too frail to live alone, but it didn't take long for Lily to realize that their frailty was more of an excuse than a reality. Bart spent most of his days lounging on the couch, watching TV, while Penelope criticized everything from Lily's cooking to the way she decorated the house. "Lily, this sofa is so uncomfortable," Penelope complained one afternoon. "You should really invest in better furniture. It's not like you can't afford it with your bank job." Bart, meanwhile, had a habit of asking for money. "Lily, I need some cash for my hospital bills," he'd say, holding out his hand. At first, Lily gave him the benefit of the doubt, but after a few months, she noticed something strange. Bart never seemed to actually go to the hospital. He looked perfectly healthy, and there were no receipts or follow-ups to prove his claims. Harvey, on the other hand, was no help at all. Whenever Lily brought up her concerns, he brushed them off. "Come on, Lily, they're my parents. What do you expect me to do, kick them out?" But it wasn't just the financial strain that wore Lily down. Penelope had a sharp tongue and wasn't afraid to use it. She constantly belittled Lily for working outside the home. "A proper wife should focus on her husband and the household," Penelope said one evening, her voice dripping with disdain. "Not running off to some office all day." Lily bit her tongue, trying to keep the peace, but the resentment was building. She was working long hours to support the household, only to come home to criticism and ungratefulness. Harvey, who had promised to be her partner, was now just another burden. He spent more time working on his freelance projects than actually contributing to the household, and Lily began to suspect that his so-called work trips weren't what they seemed. The house, once a place of comfort, now felt like a prison, and Lily was starting to realize that she was the only one holding everything together. As the months dragged on, Lily began to notice more cracks in her marriage. Harvey's behavior became increasingly suspicious. He was often out late, claiming he was meeting clients or working on big projects that never seemed to materialize into income. When Lily asked for details, he would get defensive or change the subject. One evening, as Lily sat at the dining table balancing the household budget, she noticed a series of unexplained charges on their joint credit card, expensive dinners, hotel stays, and even a jewelry purchase, none of which she had been a part of. Her stomach churned as she stared at the statements. Something wasn't right. "Harvey," she confronted him that night, holding the printed statements in her hand. "What's this? Who are you spending all this money on?" Harvey barely glanced at the papers. "It's for work," he said dismissively. "I have to entertain clients sometimes. You wouldn't understand." Lily's gut told her otherwise. She started paying closer attention to his behavior. He was glued to his phone, always texting or taking calls in hushed tones. He became more distant, barely acknowledging her when he was home. And then there was the scent of perfume, one that wasn't hers, lingering on his clothes after his so-called client meetings. The final straw came one Saturday afternoon. Harvey had left the house, claiming he was meeting a client for lunch. Lily, unable to shake her suspicions, decided to follow him. She felt a pang of guilt for stooping to this level, but she needed to know the truth. She trailed him to a trendy cafe downtown, parking her car a safe distance away. From her seat in the car, she watched as Harvey walked in and greeted a woman with a warm hug. The woman was tall, elegant, and strikingly beautiful. Lily's heart sank as she watched them laugh and lean in close, their body language unmistakably intimate. The woman's name, as Lily would later learn, was Evelyn. She was a marketing consultant Harvey had met at a networking event months ago, and it was clear that their relationship was far more than professional. Lily felt a mix of anger, heartbreak, and betrayal. But as much as it hurt, she wasn't ready to confront him just yet. She needed more than just her word against his. She needed proof. Over the next few weeks, Lily quietly gathered evidence. She checked his phone when he wasn't looking, finding flirtatious messages and photos from Evelyn. She even overheard a phone call where Harvey promised Evelyn that their future together would be perfect once he took care of things at home. But what Lily didn't know was that Harvey's betrayal ran even deeper than an affair. He wasn't just planning to leave her. He and his family were plotting something far more sinister. Lily's world was already crumbling under the weight of Harvey's betrayal, but nothing could have prepared her for what she was about to uncover. One evening, as she returned home from work earlier than usual, she heard voices coming from the living room. Harvey, Bart, and Penelope were deep in conversation, their tones hushed but urgent. Lily paused in the hallway, her heart pounding, and decided to listen. "She's worth more dead than alive," Bart muttered, his voice cold and calculating. "Exactly," Penelope chimed in. "The insurance policy is in her name, and with the amount she's insured for, we'll be set for life. Evelyn can move in, and we'll finally be rid of her." Lily's blood ran cold. She clutched the wall for support, her mind racing. They were talking about her, plotting to kill her for the life insurance money, and Evelyn, the woman Harvey was having an affair with, was part of the plan. Harvey's voice broke through her thoughts. "We just need to make it look like an accident, something quick and clean. I don't want this dragging out." Lily felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. Her husband, the man she had trusted and loved, was conspiring with his parents to end her life. She wanted to burst into the room and confront them, but she knew she couldn't. Not yet. She needed proof, something solid to take to the authorities. That night, Lily called the one person she knew she could trust, her father, Ignacio. A retired police chief, Ignacio had always been her rock, the person she turned to in times of trouble. When she told him everything, his voice was calm but firm. "Lily, listen to me," he said. "You need to stay calm and act like you don't know anything. We'll handle this, but we need evidence. Do you understand? Lily nodded, even though he couldn't see her. What should I do? I'll help you set up a recording device, Ignacio said. We'll get them on tape admitting to their plan. Once we have that, I'll make sure the police are ready to step in. The next day, Ignacio came to the house under the guise of a casual visit. While Bart and Penelope were out, he discreetly helped Lily set up a small recording device in the living room, hidden among the books on the shelf. It was voice-activated, designed to capture every word of their conversations. Over the next few days, Lily played her part perfectly. She acted as though nothing was wrong, even as her stomach churned every time she saw Harvey or his parents. She went to work, came home, and even smiled at their snide remarks, all while the recorder captured their every word. It didn't take long for the device to pick up what they needed. Bart and Penelope were careless, openly discussing the details of their plan when they thought Lily wasn't around. They talked about using a drug to poison her, mixing it into her nightly tea. Harvey, though more cautious, occasionally chimed in, agreeing to the timeline and logistics. One evening, as Lily sat in her bedroom reviewing the recordings, she felt a surge of both fear and determination. The evidence was damning. She could hear Bart's voice clearly. Once she's gone, we'll cash out the policy and split it. Evelyn can handle the rest. Lily sent the recordings to Ignacio, who immediately contacted his former colleagues in the police department. They devised a plan to catch the family in the act, ensuring there would be no way for them to talk their way out of it. But the danger wasn't over yet. Lily knew that the closer they got to executing their plan, the more reckless Harvey and his parents would become. She had to stay vigilant and hope that the police would arrive in time. The night of the confrontation began like any other. Lily returned home from work, her heart pounding in her chest as she walked through the door. She knew tonight was the night. The recordings had made it clear. Bart, Penelope, and Harvey planned to act soon, and Lily had to be ready. Ignacio and the police were stationed nearby, waiting for her signal. As she entered the house, Penelope greeted her with an unusually sweet smile. You look tired, dear. Why don't you relax? I'll make you some tea. Lily forced a smile, her hands trembling as she set her bag down. That sounds nice, thank you. She watched from the corner of her eye as Penelope moved into the kitchen. Bart was sitting on the couch, pretending to read a newspaper, but his eyes kept darting toward her. Harvey was pacing near the window, his phone in hand, avoiding her gaze. The tension in the room was suffocating. Lily excused herself to the bathroom, locking the door behind her. She pulled out her phone and sent a quick text to Ignacio. They're making their move. Be ready. When she returned to the living room, Penelope handed her a steaming cup of tea. Here you go, sweetheart. This will help you relax. Lily stared at the cup, her stomach churning. She knew it was laced with poison. Her fingers tightened around the handle as she forced herself to stay calm. Thank you, she said, sitting down on the couch. She pretended to take a sip, letting the liquid touch her lips, but not swallowing. Bart leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. You should drink it while it's hot. It's better that way. Lily nodded, setting the cup down on the coffee table. I will. I just need a moment. The room fell silent, the air thick with anticipation. Lily could feel their eyes on her, watching her every move. She glanced at the clock on the wall, counting down the minutes until the police would arrive. But then Penelope's patience snapped. Why aren't you drinking it? She demanded, her voice sharp. Lily looked up, feigning confusion. Oh, I was just letting it cool down a bit. Is something wrong? Harvey stepped forward, his face darkening. Stop playing games, Lily. Just drink the damn tea. Lily's heart raced as she realized they were growing suspicious. She needed to stall, but before she could respond, Penelope lunged forward, grabbing the cup and shoving it toward her. Drink it now, she hissed. In the chaos, Lily's hand knocked the cup to the floor, the tea spilling across the carpet. Penelope let out a furious scream and Bart shot up from the couch, his face twisted with rage. "You stupid girl," he shouted. "You've ruined everything." Harvey grabbed Lily by the arm, his grip bruising. "You think you're so clever, don't you? But it's over, Lily. You're not walking out of here." Lily struggled against him, her mind racing. She needed to buy more time. "You're insane," she spat. "All of you. Do you really think you'll get away with this?" Bart laughed coldly. "We've thought of everything. No one's going to miss you, Lily, and once you're gone, we'll have everything we need." But before they could act, the sound of sirens pierced the air. The color drained from Harvey's face as he realized what was happening. "What the hell is that?" he demanded, releasing Lily and rushing to the window. Lily took the opportunity to break free, running toward the front door. Bart tried to block her path, but she grabbed a nearby lamp and swung it at him, knocking him off balance. Penelope screamed, lunging after her, but Lily managed to unlock the door just as the police stormed in. "Freeze," one of the officers shouted, his gun drawn. Bart, Penelope, and Harvey froze in place, their faces a mix of shock and terror. Ignacio was right behind them, his expression grim as he locked eyes with Lily. "Are you okay?" he asked, rushing to her side. Lily nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I'm fine. They didn't get the chance." The police quickly apprehended Bart, Penelope, and Harvey, reading them their rights as they were handcuffed. Penelope broke down, sobbing and screaming about how it was all Bart's idea. Bart, in turn, blamed Harvey, while Harvey remained silent, his face pale and defeated. As they were led away, Lily felt a wave of relief wash over her. It was over. The people who had tried to destroy her life were finally going to face justice. Ignacio placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You were brave, Lily. It's because of you that they didn't succeed." Lily nodded, her voice trembling. I can't believe it's finally over." But deep down, she knew this was just the beginning of a new chapter in her life, one where she would no longer be a victim. The days following the arrest were a whirlwind of emotions for Lily. She spent hours at the police station, recounting every detail of what had happened. The recordings she and Ignacio had collected were more than enough to seal the case. Bart, Penelope, and Harvey were charged with conspiracy to commit murder, attempted murder, and insurance fraud. The evidence was overwhelming, and there was no way for them to talk their way out of it. During the interrogation, the truth about their motives came to light. Bart had been drowning in debt for years, gambling away what little money he had left. Penelope, desperate to maintain her lifestyle, had come up with the idea to use Lily's life insurance policy as a way out. Harvey, blinded by his affair with Evelyn and his parents' manipulative influence, had gone along with the plan, convincing himself it was the only way to secure a future with Evelyn. Evelyn, on the other hand, was caught completely off guard when the police questioned her. She had no idea about the murder plot and was horrified to learn the lengths Harvey and his family were willing to go. Embarrassed and disgusted, she cut all ties with Harvey, leaving him to face the consequences of his actions alone. For Lily, the hardest part wasn't the betrayal. It was coming to terms with how much she had ignored the red flags. She had trusted Harvey, believed in him, and even sacrificed her own happiness to support him. But now, she realized that none of it had been worth it. The man she thought she loved had been willing to take her life for money. Ignacio stayed by her side through it all, offering her the strength and support she needed to move forward. "You're stronger than you think, Lily," he told her one evening as they sat together in her now quiet home. "You've been through hell, but you came out on the other side. That's what matters." Lily nodded, her heart heavy but determined. She knew she couldn't let this define her. It was time to rebuild her life, piece by piece. In the weeks that followed, Lily began the process of rebuilding her life. The house, once filled with tension and deceit, now felt eerily quiet. But for the first time in months, Lily felt a sense of peace. She filed for divorce from Harvey immediately, cutting all ties with him and his toxic family. The legal process was swift, thanks to the overwhelming evidence of his crimes, and Lily was finally free. Ignacio encouraged her to take some time off work to heal, but Lily found solace in returning to her job at the bank. Her colleagues, who had always admired her resilience, welcomed her back with open arms. Work became her sanctuary, a place where she could focus on something productive and leave the pain of the past behind. One day, as she was settling back into her routine, a new face appeared at the office. Daniel, a recently transferred colleague, was introduced to the team. He was in his early 30s, with a warm smile and an easygoing demeanor that immediately put everyone at ease. Daniel had moved to the city to be closer to his family, and was excited to start fresh in a new environment. At first, Lily kept her distance. She wasn't ready to open her heart again, not after everything she had been through. But Daniel's kindness and genuine interest in getting to know her slowly broke down her walls. He wasn't pushy or overbearing. He simply offered her friendship, and that was exactly what Lily needed. One afternoon, as they worked on a project together, Daniel casually mentioned his love for volunteering at local shelters. "It's something I've always enjoyed," he said with a smile. "Helping others reminds me of what's really important in life." Lily found herself smiling back. For the first time in a long time, she felt a spark of hope. Daniel's sincerity and compassion were a stark contrast to the manipulation and deceit she had endured with Harvey. She wasn't ready to rush into anything, but she couldn't deny that Daniel's presence brought a sense of lightness to her days. As the months passed, Lily began to see that her life wasn't over. It was just beginning. She spent more time with Ignacio, who encouraged her to embrace the future with an open heart. Together, they went on hikes, attended community events, and even started volunteering at a local food bank. Slowly but surely, Lily rediscovered the joy she thought she had lost. One sunny afternoon, as she and Daniel walked through the park after a volunteer event, he turned to her and said, "You've been through so much, Lily, but you're one of the strongest people I've ever met. I hope you know that." Lily looked at him, her heart swelling with gratitude. "Thank you, Daniel. I'm starting to believe that myself." For the first time in what felt like forever, Lily felt truly free. She didn't know what the future held, but she was ready to face it, stronger, wiser, and surrounded by people who truly cared for her. Lily's journey had been one of heartbreak, betrayal, and unimaginable danger, but she had emerged stronger than ever. The people who had tried to destroy her were now behind bars, and she had reclaimed her life on her own terms. With Ignacio's unwavering support and the kindness of new friends like Daniel, Lily found the courage to move forward. Her story was a testament to resilience and the power of standing up for oneself. Though the scars of her past would always remain, they no longer defined her. Instead, they served as a reminder of her strength and determination to build a brighter future. As Lily walked into the next chapter of her life, she carried with her a newfound sense of hope. She had survived the storm, and now the sun was finally shining again.